Hi there, welcome to this week's Inside Track with Scotty Sun. As always, we've got Jim Delahunt here with me. Jim, Cheltenham's the focus this weekend, the November meeting, the Paddy Power Gold Cup being the highlight of Saturday, the Greatwood on Sunday. But we've got the weather to worry about first. Storm Claudia seems to be sweeping into Cheltenham tonight at tea
Yeah.
time. Anywhere between, the course themselves are saying 20 mil, the 20 mil plus they're expecting. Some of the weather apps are telling you 40 mil. So it's up in the air what this ground's going to be, isn't it?
It really is, but hey, it's winter, Robert, and we're looking forward to winter racing. And trainers tell us that they're desperately waiting for soft ground, so we're going to get soft ground this weekend. Probably softer each day. Definitely soft side Friday, probably softer Saturday, and there might even be a outcome Sunday. But that's going to suit plenty of horses. Plenty won't be suited, but we hear so much from trainers saying they want rain. We've got rain. We've got big fields for Friday. You might not think they're the best fields for Friday, and I know that there's a lot of competition in Navan this weekend because they've got some really cracking racing Saturday and Sunday. But I think we've got really good cards coming up over the 3 days. I'm not too bothered at the soft ground. Some horses will like it, some horses won't. It's our job to find out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just you just want to know what it's going to be. That's the thing. You just want to know
Yeah.
how much is getting into the ground, but we won't know that until the first races run tomorrow. So we'll just start off with that, Jim. We've got the 110, a conditional jockey's handicap, and I think we both like the same horse. So I'll let you take it.
Yeah, we both like a horse called As Legends Have It, and it's trained by Ben Pauling, going to be ridden by Callum Pritchard, wearing cheek pieces for the first time. I think this horse, he's one of two actually that we should mention that Ben Pauling runs in this. He's got Beau Morgan, another very good conditional on his other runner here, King of the Road, and I wouldn't rule out that one either. But As Legends Have It, I think he's got a really, really good chance here. Cheek pieces on for the first time. You can see from his form that he's been placed plenty of times. You just think that he has the profile of the horse that might appreciate getting the cheek pieces on. Like you, I think he's very, very well handicapped indeed. And young Callum Pritchard, I think, is great value. I mean, £3 here, it really does us a favour. And those cheek pieces, I think, just might make the difference in this 2 mile 5 handicap hurdle. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Jim. The other one I'd like to flag up is Priory Park for Edward Power, who's having his first ever run at the track. Always like the angle of smaller Irish trainers coming over
Yeah.
because they do tend to do quite well at some of these meetings in the handicap. So that one won at Ballinrobe in September. So that's the second bottom weight. As legends have it, is the bottom weight the whole race. This is the
Yeah.
second bottom weight. It's got Mr. E Staples, who I think it would be Ian if you're going by Ian Jess. But I
Yeah.
think it would be Owen in Ireland, isn't it?
Yeah, and the commentator at Ayr yesterday, he rode in the bumper. He rode the favourite in the bumper at Ayr on Wednesday, and he got beat. The commentator was calling him Owen Staples, so I think that's the Irish pronunciation.
Right, right. Well, he seems to be highly rated. He's claiming seven. So I thought Priory Park, it's 28 to 1 just now, but I would just keep an eye on that one in the betting because these Irish stables have got a habit of coming over here and picking these races up. So that will move on then, Jim. The 220. After that, you've got one in that race.
Yeah, I like leave of absence here for Anthony Honeyball. His strike rate at the moment is well over 30%. His horses are in absolutely fantastic form. Rex Dingo rides really well for him. He's not in the second horse I'm going to mention later, but leave of absence has Rex Dingo on. Has a £3 penalty for winning over course and distance last time. This would be a slightly better race, I suppose. A listed chase and the £3 penalty, I suppose, will give some people a problem, but I think it'll just make the price better. So I'm going to take leave of absence with that £3 penalty for Anthony Honeyball, whose horses are in absolutely tremendous form. And just the presence of Wade out there with Sean Bowen on board and Isaac Desobo for Paul Nicholls, I think it makes it very, very competitive. It is, of course, the Suns race, the Suns Save Our Bets Novices Chase on Friday at Cheltenham. The paper obviously making a big thing of that, and quite rightly too. And I think leave of absence could be the winner there.
The Shloer is the main race on the Friday. That's been moved from the Sunday to the Friday to try and prop up this card and give it a bit more quality. Grade two, 2 mile chase. Last year, Jim, you took on John Bon time
Yeah.
and time again. You eventually got him at Cheltenham and you got him again at Sandown. I notice he's had a wind up. Will you be keen to take him on, or are you not interested in this race this week?
No, from a betting point of view, won't be interested at all. I'll be going to put the kettle on for a coffee at this point just to watch the Shloer Chase. It's a fantastic spectacle, we hope, over 2 miles. Nice little field there, despite Boot Hill not running. And I think John Bonne with a wind operation, You never know quite where Nicky's coming from with some of these things, but been very, very open about it. You have to be nowadays. You have to declare wind operations, and we'll see if that makes any difference at all to John Bond. I'm not going to take him on this time. I'll be interested to have a look at Low de Sud, as I'm sure you will be. But John Bond with the wind up, let's just see how he gets on. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought the wind up. Just noticed that this morning when they declared with that. I thought that was interesting. But again, Ludisud's the obvious one. I mean, he's the kind of improving horse. He's probably the most unexposed one, the one that's got the most improvement in him. I mean, the Arkle last year was a crazy race when you watch it
Yeah,
back.
it
I
really
mean,
was.
he wasn't beaten far in that though. I mean, only by night has come out and stood the form up there with beating Champ Kiley. I think you could have backed him at 92 at the start of the week. I think he's about 72 now, 100 to
Yeah,
30. So, I mean, anybody that backed him at the start of the week's on at the right price. But again, I'm not in a huge rush to take on John Mon because he just kind of farms these races at this level. It just seems to be in March when he steps up to Grade 1
yeah.
level and the Irish come that he encounters a problem. So, like you, I'll just watch it and enjoy it. And then we move on to 3:30 on Friday, which is Albert Bartlett, Novices Hurdle, Grade 2, over 2 mile 5. And we both like the same horse again here, Jim. Fountains Blenheim.
Yeah, very much so, Robert. Anthony Honeyball again. I'm hoping we get a decent each way price for this because fascinating, I think, that Sam Twiston Davis, who does ride a lot for Anthony Honeyball, but he has got off his dad and brother Willie's horse here into something good to ride this one. Now, I had a wee look, as you no doubt did as well, and he did ride this horse to win a bumper last season, so he has experience of riding it. It does seem to have a penchant for running well at Fontwell because it won last time at Fontwell, and you wouldn't really jump on Fontwell form coming to a Grade 2 at Cheltenham. But visually, I was very impressed with this horse last time at Fontwell, and I think that Honeyball knows his horse's levels. He's obviously convinced Sam Twiston Davis that he should ride this horse in this race. As I say, I'm hoping for an each way price. The other horse that I would mention here, I'm sure you would as well, is Imperfectly Perfect for Russell and Scudamore, who had a kind of mixed day air on Wednesday. And Derek Fox rides this one Imperfectly Perfect. Now, this one brings Hexham form to the mix. So if you're going to rule out Fontwell form, you better rule out the Hexham form as well. But I think Imperfectly Perfect will go well too. Might be worth a small saver, but I'm hoping for a decent each way price like you are about Fountains Blenheim. What attracted you to the horse?
Just the same thing. I just wondered why Sam Twiston Davis has jumped off his dad's and brother's horse to ride this one. I mean, I'm not sure you can make too much of the Fontwell race purely because the other individuals, but I mean the favourite came down early
Yeah,
then, so we're not entirely sure what it beat. But I mean, it's priced up at 14 to 1, and I just thought with the jockey booking was interesting enough. And any horse that wins by 32 lengths the last time, you've got to,
exactly.
even though we don't have that much evidence of
Yeah,
what it beat. I mean, heads up is going to be the right favourite, isn't it?
of course.
After finishing second in the bumper and then winning at Listowel the last time out. So I mean that one's 5 to 2, but at 14 to 1, I thought Fountains Blenheim was definitely worth a look and was on the same track as you. And then that's all we've got at Cheltenham on Friday, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah.
Move on to Saturday.
Move on to Saturday, and we start with a Triumph Hurdle trial. And the interesting one for me here, Robert, is a horse called Secret Force, which is trained by Gavin Cromwell and is also owned by Jimmy Fife. And Secret Force is going to be ridden by Keith Donoghue. I think this is quite interesting because we've made a lot of Jimmy signing up Brian Hughes to be his retained jockey this season. Well, in actual fact, Brian Hughes goes to Wetherby on Saturday to ride another one of Jimmy's called Hossam. So without knowing the inside track, Robert, it just strikes me that the Cromwell horses wouldn't be tied down to having Brian Hughes on them. And Keith Donoghue rides this Secret Force. Now, I thought this ex-Godolphin horse was quite impressive, winning on the flat at Listowel and then made its hurdles debut at Punchestown. Absolutely hacked up by 6 lengths. Was really, really impressive that day. The second, Hopes Are High, will renew rivalry at Cheltenham. I can't see that one getting near him this time. But interestingly for me, the third horse, Adrienne, which is trained by Ted Walsh, it went for a Fairy House maiden hurdle next time out and absolutely hacked up as well. So I think Secret Force is bringing very, very strong Punchestown 3-year-old hurdle form to this race. And I think he's going to be good value with Keith Donoghue in the saddle. And I'll mention Gavin Cromwell later, but as you well know, his record at this meeting and at Cheltenham in the autumn is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, is it stable in good form now though, Jim?
Well, you can take it or leave it, to be perfectly
Mm.
honest. You could argue either way. Just if you only include the fancied horses, then they're not doing too badly. If you throw in all the rags, then they're having a nightmare.
Yeah.
So you just have to take it on trust that he's better horses. The fact that he's coming to Cheltenham with what he thinks are his better horses, you just have to take that on trust.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you can look at the bare numbers and you think
Yeah,
somebody's in bad form, but you actually go through and look at it and go, well, a lot of them were 200 to 1 chances,
exactly.
33 to 1 chances and that. So, but we'll move on to the 110, which is the amateur jockey's handicap chase over 3 mile one. And one horse that won't mind the rain coming is Autonomous Cloud, which
Yeah,
I think I'll love the conditions if we get as much rain as being suggested. I actually won at Cartmel on quicker ground in the summer under the same claimer, £7 claimer Harry O'Dwyer.
yeah,
Only up £2 for that. He's still £10 below what his winning mark in the past has been. So I think Autonomous Cloud, the track, the trip will suit him. I mean, he's had a break since Cartman. I think he's been off 171 days, but he's run well fresh in the past. So I think Autonomous Cloud, if there's plenty of dig in the ground, that one will go close. Also, I think, I mean, Neil Mulholland won the race last year with Transmission, and he runs Kelce in this race, or Kelce, I don't know how you pronounce it, but he
yeah.
was a narrow fourth at the October meeting here, so I think he's got soft ground form as well. So I think that one would go close too. But you've got another one in that you like.
Yeah, I have to say I do like Autonomous Cloud because, as you say, the ground will slow the others down because he can be a big, slow old boat, but he does go a decent gallop when the ground's soft. He's well handicapped, and Henry O'Dwyer rides him well. Harry O'Dwyer rather rides him well. So yeah, Autonomous Cloud, I get that totally. But I'm going to go for Sound and Fury. Again, it's Ben Pauling. Gina Andrews, I think, is a cracking jockey. She rides Sound and Fury. He's only up £2 for winning at Carlisle last time. And I think this race might be right up his street. So while I appreciate Autonomous Cloud, will appreciate the ground, and I think it will go well. And we both know from Ayr on Wednesday that Fergal's horses are running well and winning. I'm going to go against them on this occasion with Sound and Fury. So fingers crossed for both of us.
And then 145 got the Arkle trial. Now we've talked enough about Henry de Bromhead bringing horses
Yeah,
over here to be respected every time he does. This is another meeting that he does well at. So I think July Flower, you could not be impressed with her at Limerick a few weeks ago. I think it'll take a good one here to give her £7. She's won on very soft and heavy in France. Now we're never 100% that we trust the French code descriptions, but
yeah,
it seems she has won on very soft and heavy in France, so the ground shouldn't hold any fears. But I thought she jumped really, really well that day. Ridden differently as well. They'd held her up a fair bit over hurdles, but she was ridden a lot more prominently. I would expect they'll do the same here. Jax Jr. has come out. That wasn't declared, which takes the pace angle out a little bit
yeah,
because I had in
yeah,
my mind that Jax Jr. would be bombing forward and July Flower would just be able to sit in behind. So you're really looking at Brentford Hope and Stencil, who's the 4-year-old in the race.
yeah,
I mean, I actually had a look back. The last 4-year-old to win this, or the last two 4-year-olds to win this, you have to go back a long time. Were Fair Along, who was a great horse in his day,
yeah,
or Philip Hobbs, was it?
yeah.
And then Tatinen, who was another
Oh,
150 plus horse. So I think to be a 4-year-old to win this race, you have to be pretty good. And Stencil come across and was stuffed at the Fred Winter when he was favourite. So they've not wasted any time going over fences. So that one might be dangerous. Could be dangerous. Harry Cobden rides it, I think. I'm sure I saw
yeah.
his name beside it this
He
morning. But
does. Harry Cobden, yeah.
yeah, I just think July Flower, just the way she won at Limerick, I think I'm going to be on side with her. But you fancy the Skelton one?
Yeah, I do fancy the Skelton one. You're putting your trust in Dan and Harry here, and I think we've done that several times over the past few weeks with Thistle Ask, particularly last week when we talked last week. He was 8-1, and I flagged it up for the Haldon, and he won at 3-1. So delighted with that. So I'm putting my trust in Dan and Harry here because be aware, Robert was entered for the 3 mile race on Friday, but they've clearly had a right good look at that, and they've decided they've had a right good look at this 2 miler as well, and they're going for that one now. He only won a Stratford handicap last time, so we can't shout about that form. But I think the fact that they're going for this 2 mile race, I think they might want to inject a little bit of pace into this. And I think Be Aware could be the one for this one because when Harry really goes for it, he doesn't take any prisoners. And if they thought this horse was going to win a 3 mile chase on the Friday, I don't think they'll want to hang about on Saturday. So I'm going to take a little bit of a chance here, but I think given Dan and Harry's record with 2 mile chasers and in the very recent past, I think it's well worth taking a chance. But yes, I saw that July Flower race. And yeah, I know where you're coming from there, of course, but be aware for me, hopefully, to upset the apple cart there.
We've not talked about Burdett Road.
No,
Who
we haven't.
did did Burdett Road ever strike you as a chaser? I'm not sure. I expected him to stay over hurdles, but they're
Yeah.
certainly. I mean, he beat. He was second to Rubo the last time, so this is his chase debut. But I mean, Burdett Road's probably. I would imagine Burdett Road's the highest rated horse in the field, is he?
I would imagine so, but having said that, I mean, I wouldn't have thought of him as a chaser,
Yeah.
but I presume there's been some consultation with Sam Twiston Davis on this one. So he obviously thinks that he might be a chaser, but I don't think Brentford Hope's a chaser either. So
No. No.
it'll be fascinating to see how this race breaks out. Works out. And Anthony Honeyball's got another one in this race as well, of course, breaking cover, which you haven't mentioned either. So it's probably more open than you would have thought. But no, a Burdett Road, very interested to see how he gets on. But no, he wasn't really a natural chaser in my book.
Yeah. And then the 220, the Paddy Power Gold Cup, over 2.5 miles. What do we fancy in this? A nice easy one.
Nice, easy one, and I've been hot on one all week, Robert, because I flagged one up in the diary column last Sunday in the Scottish Sun, and that was the company sergeant. At that point, there was just a little question mark as to whether he would run, but he has been declared. And Gavin Cromwell, the aforementioned Gavin, has also declared the other Mosey, and he's put a £7 claimer on that one. But the company sergeant is Keith Donohue's mount. Ran a few races during the summer, didn't really shine in the Galway Plate, but ran in it's either the Kerry National or the Munster National. I get a bit confused with those ones, but ran a really good race, and that race has worked out extraordinarily well. The second and the third have both won 50 grand plus handicaps in the meantime. The company sergeant has Cheltenham form. I think he's been probably laid out with this just to see how the weather was, but I think they knew it was going to be soft ground. They're happy it is now soft ground, and the company sergeant is the one for me. But you fancy another Irish Raider?
Well, I mean, I banged on all last year about how these 2.5 mile chases at Cheltenham, you've got to be up with the pace. So, El Ridotto back to defend his crown for last year, only a pound higher. Running style suits. I'm not convinced he's going to want soft ground though. I
Yeah,
think that one might be getting a line put through it because of that. Uh,
I would agree with that, by the way. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Coming up easy for De Bromhead, another one you probably couldn't rule out. Won three handicaps in a row, five length win at Killarney. No
yeah.
course experience though, which is a negative in this race, I think. Panic Attack seems to be the Skelton plot horse. That's the one that everybody's been
Would appear
talking
to
about.
be.
So, I mean, that one will be up with the pace as well. So you can't rule that out. I mean, usually needed a run when it was with David Pike, but you can bank on the Skeltons to have it totally fit if they've been targeting it. But I managed to back Sam Thomas, who's probably his only loser in the last 3 weeks. Last week at Ainty, and I'm going to go in with Sam Thomas again. I think Vincenzo is really interesting. He beat Doyen Dubar at Sandown and was second to Booster Bob, and he is one that I think will be
Yeah,
right up with the pace, and I think
yeah,
the softening ground will really play into his strengths as well. So with the stable flying, the way the race is likely to be run, he's past form with Doyen Dubar and Booster Bob. I think Vincenzo is going to be one of my two bets, and the other
yeah,
one I'm going to back is Theatre Native,
yeah,
who uh, made a comeback over 2 mile 3 at Limerick last month. Ridden pretty conservatively, but as a course winner here over 2 mile 4.5. Up £10 for that, but I think there's more to come for this horse. The only thing I'm not entirely sure about is the ground because you can make the case either way. She's run well in soft ground before and she's been pulled up in soft ground. So there's one of them. It's taking a risk with her on the ground, but with the record's a bit patchy. But I think the way the races run will suit her as well. Just sit off the pace, but be ridden prominently enough
yeah,
to be bang there. So Vincenzo and Theatre Native are my two, and you're the company sergeant. So what could
yeah.
possibly go wrong?
Well, I tell you, I'm swithering about napping the company sergeant in this race because I've been thinking about the race all week. But the one that's just jumping off the page at me, despite the fact that Dan and Harry have been adamant that Panic Attack is their number one in this, and Harry's riding it, is Ho Jolly Smoke. Because Ho Jolly Smoke came to win his race at Cheltenham last time and obviously and visually blew up. So he wasn't quite fit enough for that. The fact that they are running this in this race, obviously different owners, Keelan Wood's on it, means that I will definitely have a sabre, but that might not put me off napping the company sergeant because I really think this horse has got the perfect profile for the Paddy Power Gold Cup.
Yeah, I think you've got to have a saver on Ho Jolly Smoke after the last
Yeah,
time. You'd be kicking that cat that appears over your shoulder
exactly.
now and again. But and then the 255 got a 3 mile handicap hurdle, and so I'm going to back Supremely West in this. I thought that was a huge eye catcher in the Pertemps qualifier race
Yeah,
here at the last meeting. Harry Skelton's. We moved to the Skeltons from Dr. Newland, Jamie
yeah,
Insole's yard. Harry Skelton had it hunted right at the very back and just cruised through to finish. Surprise, surprise, third to
yeah.
qualify for the Pertemps in March.
Perfect.
So it's only went up a pound for that. He was ridden that day like a horse that had another target in mind. So I think Supremely West might be ridden a bit differently in this race.
Imagine that.
We'll see. And then we move on to the 330, which is a 2 mile 5 handicap hurdle. And Royal Infantry is a horse that
Yeah,
we liked at Chepstow. Was
yeah,
disappointed at Chepstow when it didn't win. But actually looking back now, that's turned out to be a really good race because Pagan, who was in behind him, Pagan, who was second, has come out and absolutely hacked up over
yeah.
fences at
Very much.
Carlisle. ID Wood has come out and won. Take No Chances gave you a fright when you put strong leader up at Wetherby the
Yeah,
other week.
yeah,
And even Joss the Boss came out and won a walkover, so we can't
yeah.
really chalk that up as standing the form up. But there's plenty of good form of that Chepstow race. So I think Royal Infantry maybe actually did run a good race in his comeback that day, and we shouldn't have been too disappointed. So only up £2, we run behind him. I think he should go close. And the other one is the other Royal in the field, Royal Rambler. I think if he's fit, this is this one seasonal comeback. I think if this one's fit, it'll be dangerous. Gave the jukebox kid £6 that you talked to
Yeah.
for a half length defeat. That one came up and won at Carlisle the other week. So I thought Royal Rambler was well worth a second look as well.
I think as well you should mention that Royal Infantry was also in the previous race with
Yeah,
Supremely West, and he split them up.
yeah,
So he's got Royal Infantry going for the 330. So I'm hoping desperately that you're on the right track here because I can see where you're coming from with Supremely West and Royal Infantry, both very much in form handicap hurdlers.
yeah. And just on the back of your nap winning yesterday, Jim, I think Cat Boy in this race has got to have a second look as well.
Definitely.
Because Tread Softly Now did win, albeit much lower level than this race is going to be. Tread Softly Now did win really easily yesterday at Ayr. So
Yeah.
Cat Boy beat that one pretty convincingly at Perth
At Perth, that's
a
right.
couple of
And
months
and
ago.
Murphy
So
and Bowen in great form as well, Robert.
yeah, so Cat Boy's one that I couldn't knock out the frame either. So
Yeah.
we'll move on to Sunday, and although neither of us have got a bet in the maiden hurdle at 115. It's going to be fascinating to see a horse that was second in the Derby that won the Lingfield
Yeah.
Derby 12 over hurdles, isn't it? Another one that Sam Twiston Davis is going to ride.
Yeah, James Owen has obviously decided, along with the owner, that Ambient Friendly is going to go for the maiden hurdle at Cheltenham on Sunday. Oh, goodness me, when was the last time a placed horse in the Derby went over
Yeah.
hurdles? We need to look that up tonight. But Sam Twiston Davis, I would imagine, again would have had some kind of say in this. He'll have ridden the horse at home, and I would imagine that Ambient Friendly is one to watch at the weekend because there were one or two question marks about him on the flat. And despite the fact that he brings that flat class to this race, it's very much the one that I would prefer just to sit back and watch. Are you the same?
Oh, definitely. But I mean, the last time 118 rated on the flat, I mean, it must have been, who was it? Was it John Ferguson? Remember he had the tie-in with Godolphin and they were putting the classy horses on the over jumps,
Oh
but
yeah, I do
I'm not
remember
sure
that. Yeah.
I'm not sure even he had one
No,
that maybe been sort of running at that level. But
I
again,
can't remember. I can't remember what rating Crebensis was, but he was pretty decent on the flat, wasn't he?
right, right.
Going way
Anyway,
back
it's
to this.
a fascinating angle into that race. Maiden hurdles are not really my thing, but I'll be definitely looking forward to watch it. The 220, a 2 mile handicap chase, far more my bag, and I think we've got to mark up Rare Edition's effort at Kelso now, do we
Yeah,
not? I
we,
mean,
we certainly do. Having chased home Thistle Ask and the exploits of that horse in the last few weeks, I think Rare Edition, Charlie Longston's going to be very disappointed if he can't win this race, this £40,000 handicap off a similar rating. What do you think?
well, I mean, he gave Thistle Ask £20 that day and got beat 7 lengths, and I mean, Thistle Ask is now rated 144, so I mean, do the maths. The other
Yeah,
thing about Rare Edition, he seems to be a horse that starts the season really brightly and then fades away. I've looked at his history, and I think maybe now is time to catch him. He seems to run well around about this time of year, and then once you get to the turn of the year, he kind of tapers off a bit. So soft ground will be fine for him as well. I
Yeah.
mean, he's a horse that beat Rubo over
Yep.
hurdles and Novice Hurdle
Yep.
once. So
Yep.
I mean, he's a classy animal, but I just think if we're taking things literally, which is sometimes the wrong thing to do, right enough. But I think Rare Edition, if he's declared, has to be of huge interest in that race. And then we'll move on to the Greatwood, Jim, where in the past the Greatwood winners would go short, well not short, but Greatwood winners would maybe be 10, 12 to 1 for a champion hurdle. I'm not really looking at it, seeing anything that's going to sort of
No.
bother the top end of the market this year. But you had a look at it, and what do you think?
Yeah, I'm fascinated by this race because Celtic Dino's the top weight. I'm not sure if it's going to run, but if Celtic Dino did run and win this with 12 stone, I suppose he would come into the equation, having won a Welsh champion hurdle off top weight as well. But the one that I really like, and it's obviously we're working here on Thursday, Robert, without declarations for Sunday, and this one still needs four horses to come out. Although with the weather forecast, I suspect if Brian Ellison wants to run Cormier, and I suspect they do that he will get in. He's right down on the bottom mark of 10 stone 5 in this race. He's astonishingly well handicapped. He's run in this race before, as we both know. But Cormier had a long break off the track. They brought him back steadily. He managed to win a race at Nottingham on the flat over a mile and three quarters just a couple of weeks ago, and he returns to hurdles off a ridiculously low mark. So, with his form over hurdles in the past, with his well-being confirmed, and also with Brian Ellison's record with older handicappers, I think Cormier could be a right good price at the weekend. Now, I had a nibble each way at 33 so that I wouldn't lose too much if he wasn't declared. I noticed yesterday he was 25s. I think if this horse is declared and people click onto this, he's going to go off 10, 12 to 1. So I think Cormier goes to the Greatwood Hurdle with better credentials than he may have approached this race in the past. What do you reckon?
Well, Jim, he's running the race three times before. Every time's been in the 130s, and he's now in here off 121. So the
Yep,
only thing is, Rooster Booster is the only horse older than seven to win
yep,
this race this century. I mean, he's 9 year old, so that's a big negative. But it's clear that Ellison and Dan Gilbert have been desperate to win this
yep,
race with this horse because they throw him in it every year that he's fit. So I can definitely see where you're coming from. And the one that I think really, really interesting is Laffy for William Durkin, who was thrown into Grade 3 Limestone Lad and only his second hurdle start. I mean, he was no match for Anzadam, who's one of the horses they're talking about for a champion hurdle. But I mean, he gave 146 rated Beacon Edge a bit of a race of it. He
yep.
wasn't beat too far from him. Gave him plenty to think about after the last. He jumped well all the way around that day at I can't remember Limerick, sorry. Was it?
Yep, think so.
Yep.
Yep,
Jumped well right until the last. He kind of fluffed the last a wee bit, but he's won a maiden hurdle that threw up plenty of winners. Shadow
yep,
Paddy won a listed race at Limerick last month. He was well back in 10th in the maiden hurdle that Laffey won. So in terms of field size as well, so I was a wee bit worried. He's only running a three runner race and a maiden hurdle, but his wins in the flat for William Haggis all came in fields of 10 plus. So you would think this might actually suit him the setup of this race,
yep.
but so I thought he was very interesting. Just a young horse thrown in here by an Irish trainer that had been really highly tried. I mean, Alexi would have to take a second look at as well, Jim, after doing us a turn
Definitely.
at Ascot the other week.
Yep,
Celtic Dino, as you say, but both of them are up £7. So Cormier and Laffey are both big prices. So until we see the
yep.
decks, those two are the ones we'll focus on for the time being.
Yeah, I'll try and put more on this race in the diary column on Sunday. Obviously, I'll be well furnished with declarations by that time, and I'll also be looking to see if Tanganyika is declared for the 3 mile, 3.5 furlong handicap chase at 255. But more on that on Sunday if it's declared. I wanted to mention a couple on Saturday as well, Robert. At Wetherby on Saturday, I think we've already mentioned that Brian Hughes is there to ride Hossam for Jimmy Fife in the 125. I'm going to throw in Ruby Island for Nicky Richards and Danny McMenamin in the 2 o'clock. Now, she was entered in a race at Bangor on Wednesday when we were down at Ayr. She was taken out of that to wait for this race on Saturday. She's been declared with Danny in the saddle, and I thought she won really, really well at Ayr last time. So Ruby Island in the 2 o'clock at Wetherby. And we've sort of alluded to Navan having some cracking racing on Saturday and Sunday. And one I like on Saturday is Jitara, and that's trained by Jesse Harrington. Goes for the Lismullen Hurdle at 2:10 over 2.5 miles and goes there race fit and with form in the book. So Jitara for me, I know that there's one or two like Colonel Mustard, which might turn up there on Saturday, but Jitara very much the one for me in the 2:10. Anything else that you've looked at Navan?
Not in Navan, but I have at Wetherby. Uh, as you know, Jim, I'm a big fan of the Sue Smith yard, and I'm detecting that their training regime's maybe changed a little bit because
Oh,
I think they're a bit more forward for this time of year than they usually are. It's usually another 3 or 4 weeks before you start
yeah.
backing them. But the Sedgefield's on today. A few have been back there. A few have been back at Market Raising. I mean, they even won with a 3-year-old bumper horse at Huntingdon the other day,
Saw that, yeah.
which they backed for 80s into 28. So now might be, instead of it being Mary Smithmas, it might be brought forward a wee bit. We're starting Christmas early. But I thought the 235 Glen Road, who's had a run, which was always the MO. They have a run and then you
Yeah,
back them after that. This one's had a run, steps back up in trip after being third to Singapore trip last time out at the track. I just think Glen Road's primed to go close. And the other one would be the 343. If your Be Aware runs well, Serendipity from that Stratford race
of
would
course.
come into the reckoning. But tricky race that. I thought Paris Encore, although it's the oldest horse in the field, just started to look pretty well handicapped in that as well. And the softening ground would be a bit unknown for that one. But you know, with Nicky Richards, he won't run it if the ground's not right. So
Correct.
you'll not do any damage there. But I just thought Paris Encore coming down to 126. But if Be Aware comes out and wins at Cheltenham, maybe throws a spanner in the works at Serendipity, will have to come into it. So we'll wait and see. But apart from that, I think that's us for a busy and wet weekend.
Yeah, Nicky, both mentioned Nicky in the last couple of minutes. As we speak on Thursday, he's already the winner at Market Raising, and he's got another well-fancied runner at Sedgefield later. So fingers crossed that his form continues to the weekend. But yeah, we're looking forward to a cracking weekend, and I hope everybody watching is as well.
Thanks, folks. Best of luck with your bets. Cheers.
Thanks, everybody.